Netflix's exclusive anime, Godzilla Singular Point, is teeming with creatures both familiar and new. Much has already been said about the show's marquee monsters, but not as much has been dedicated to the more rare and forgotten kaiju that dwell within GSP's 13 episodes. In this series of videos, we're going to search out those mysterious beasts and bring them to the forefront, from one-off kaiju cameos to creature concepts that were left on the cutting room floor. These are the Lost Kaiju of Godzilla Singular Point. Like most of Singular Point's kaiju, Rodan exhibited multiple evolutionary forms in the show. There was the usually solitary pink and pastel first form, the brown and swarming so-called Rodan adult second form, and finally, the incredibly mysterious gigantic third form. This giant shadow Rodan shows up in the cold open of episode 10 for mere moments before being blown out of the sky by Godzilla terrestris. Once down, the Japanese self-defense forces report that no corpse can be found, and that's it. No follow-ups, no more mentions. The creature literally seemingly disappears from the story as quickly as it arrived. So what was it? In the context of Godzilla Singular Point's story, we know exactly what this mysterious third form is supposed to represent. Another stage of Rodan's evolution, perhaps even the apex of such. Its appearance plays to the rules established by Singular Point's kaiju, animals that continually get larger, like Anguirus or Manda, and also evolve, like Godzilla. On a creative level, it was a later addition to Singular Point's story, not something that had been conceived at the start. There was a need for a big Rodan, director Atsushi Takahashi recalled on the episode 10 Blu-ray commentary. I asked Yamamori to draw some additional designs. However, since a completely new design was not possible due to our schedule, we asked him to make some modifications to the existing Rodan. These modifications to the second form Rodan model can clearly be seen on the 3D CG breakdown in the extras found on the Godzilla Singular Point Volume 3 Blu-ray set. In addition to the physical model changes, Takahashi also requested that Yamamori have the flying monster radiate some mysterious power, as the creature would be supercharged with red dust archetype. So what do we call this monster? Shadow Rodan, as some in the West have dubbed it? Or maybe the Japanese fan name Rodan Ultima? How about the incredibly vanilla Rodan Form 3? Well, your preference is as good as any because, as of this video, there is no official designation for this form of the Shogun of the Skies. Director Takahashi simply refers to it as the Big Rodan on the Blu-ray commentary. The Godzilla Singular Point fanbook skips over the monster entirely, except for the briefest mentions in the plot synopsis for episode 10. And there are also no mentions of it on the official Godzilla Singular Point website. For a creature that was made specifically because the director said it was needed for the story, the lack of an official name and an almost complete absence in official materials is, at the very least, odd. It's unclear why there is so little fanfare surrounding Rodan Ultima, but if another season of GSP ever comes out, maybe we'll get to see more of this massive shadowy kaiju, and finally be introduced by name. Beyond the original 3 forms, there was also reportedly a 4th form of Rodan discussed at one point, one that would have been brand new territory for the prehistoric flying reptile. According to producer Takashi Yoshizawa, there had been disagreement about whether or not Rodan should come out of the ocean. That argument was ultimately won over by series composer and head writer Toenjo, who, on the episode 2 Blu-ray commentary, stated, "But there's no other choice than the ocean. If the satellites aren't picking them up, then the only place they can be is going to be in the ocean." These kinds of discussions were not unusual during the process of creating Godzilla Singular Point, a show that the creators had decided should strive for some kind of believable level of reality within its story. So when it was decided that a swarm of Rodan could only naturally go undetected by hiding in a large body of water, it's not really that surprising to find out that the creatives also considered perhaps one of the monster's forms should maybe reflect its oceanic origins. "In the beginning, we were going to order a design for an underwater form of Rodan," said director Atsushi Takahashi on the episode 2 Blu-ray commentary, but that got scrapped at the last minute. Like so many of Godzilla Singular Point's scrapped ideas, this is the sole detail I've been able to find about Aqua Rodan, and any other details can really only be speculated on. Where might this form have fallen on Rodan's evolutionary chain? Well, it might be reasonable to say it would have preceded Rodan's first form, perhaps starting off as a marine reptile before gaining the power of flight in later forms. Also, why did the idea of this marine kaiju ultimately drown? For this, I don't think it's really that wild to consider that perhaps it was a story and or money and time based decision. Would having an underwater Rodan serve the story? Should the production spend the money to order another 3D model, or could the story get along just fine with just having 3 forms instead? The answer just isn't clear. But I, for one, would have welcomed the addition of an aquatic form of Rodan. So, fan artists, animators, and writers, time to do your magic and breathe life into this forgotten singular point beast. Well, that's going to be all for now. I'd like to thank Kaioi Toshi for helping provide information for this video, and all of you for checking it out. For Godzilla's sake, please consider liking and sharing this video, as well as subscribing to the channel, as every little bit helps for us to continue to bring you videos like these. Thank you all, and we'll see you soon.